Johannesburg has been the venue for the C40 Cities Mayor Summit, which is taking place at the Sandton Convention Centre, and it's brought mayors from all over the world, Asia, Europe and even North America. And one mayor is the mayor of Vancouver, and that's Gregor Robertson. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to South Africa.
Thank you. It's great to be in South Africa, and in Joburg in particular.
So, why did Canada, Vancouver, choose to be part of the C40 cities?
Well, I have a goal for our city to be the greenest city in the world by 2020. I was elected on that promise over 5 years ago, and we worked very hard to advance our city's work on sustainability and being a leader globally as a city. And the C40 network is where many cities seeking to advance the work get together and really exchange ideas, best practices, inspire each other, and it's an obvious fit for us to be involved. Not as one of the biggest 40, but we're one of the innovator cities that are trying to really push the pace.
So what are the best practices that you've seen in the C40 cities that you've been able to employ in Vancouver?
Well, we've definitely copied a lot of ideas from different cities, and when we reach sort of a difficult, intractable problem, we find that other cities have already tackled it and have a solution. So an example, we've rolled out collecting all of the organics, all the compost, food waste, garden waste, and getting it out of our landfill and our incinerator, and making sure we compost it and create a resource from it. And there are a number of cities ahead of us on this who have been successful with that. So that's helped to shape our program. We get to learn from the mistakes made by others and thereby not make those mistakes ourselves. And in some cases we've been ahead of the curve, working with C40 on renewable district energy, neighborhood energy utilities. In our case, we have one that captures the heat out of the sewer pipes and heats hot water to heat entire neighborhood. And it's basically the same cost for the energy, 70% reduction in our emissions, our climate pollution, and good success on that level that we can share with other cities.
Are there any particular networks within the C40 grouping that you've sort of tapped into that have been useful to you?
Well, we're very much involved in this question of local energy systems, and district energy is the jargon in cities. That's one where we are working to contribute and help other cities to learn from, because we are pushing it. I'd say all the networks have value in looking at what their outcomes, what their conclusions are. The latest report that's aggregated all of the data from cities it will be extremely valuable for us to see how we fit across the spectrum, and really having those targets and metrics is the approach we've taken in Vancouver, and we're seeing it in cities all over the world now. And being able to compare apples to apples means that we can drive the change more successfully.
So do you use a lot of the research that flows out of, and these reports that flow out of C40?
Yeah, I mean, C40 can play that role of capturing all this data. We all collect enormous amounts of data. We're all working with open data systems now, but they rely on people like C40 to put them together and to be able to compare and contrast. So that's extremely valuable for us. That synthesis of the best solutions, different applications for different climates, different cities, is very useful for us. And hopefully we see it continue to scale, many more cities being involved, and the information inevitably pressuring our federal governments in particular to take action and empower and support cities to do more.
Is there anything in particular you think that you might be able to take back to Vancouver from Johannesburg? Things that you might have seen that sort of piqued your interest, or is there anything that you can share with Mayor Parkstow?
Mayor Parkstow is very modest. The people of Johannesburg, I think, are to be commended for their commitment to tackling climate change and really investing in the future of the city. I've been incredibly surprised to see the progress made here. We tend to think the more affluent cities are the ones that will take action, that can afford to take the action. And in Johannesburg, you just see this commitment across the board, at all levels. Whether it's, I toured the new parks in Soweto, saw the green school that was being built there in the town. It's a commitment that's much deeper, and recognizing the threat. There's very real threats and impacts and cost with climate change, and it's very heartening to see a commitment here. And Mayor Tao leading that right now is important for the city, but ultimately it's the citizens, the people of the city that need to express that, and I felt that, whether it was in the streets of Soweto or seeing the BRT system up and coming, and people embracing that versus a traffic jam. Those are they're inspiring, and then there's also technical pieces that are useful. For example, the wetland systems, purifying the waters, the rivers that flow through the city. Looking at opportunities to implement will be good when we can gather that technical data too.
Well, Mayor of Vancouver, Mr. Gregor Robertson, thank you very much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us, and we certainly hope that you take back some great memories from your visit here in South Africa.